Frost Death Knight hasn't received quite the same level of overhaul that Unholy did, but there are still some solid, worthwhile updates to talk about. Since Frost got its talent rework back in 11.2, Blizzard has made it clear that the focus for Midnight is more about fine-tuning than numbers. They are turning a few knobs and dials to help Frost better find its place in the meta rather than reinventing the spec again. The good news, if you enjoyed Frost before, you'll feel right at home in Midnight. And if you've been curious about trying it, now's actually a great time to jump in. In this video, we will guide you through what to expect in the next expansion, ranking each major change from a thumbs up to a thumbs down. Now, we don't know when for sure Midnight will launch, but for sure it will be at the start of next year. That means we still have at least 2 more months of the War Within, which is plenty of time to hit your goals this season. And while you're waiting for Midnight, we recently updated all of our class courses for Season 3, giving you everything you'll need to rank up fast, including videos on how to perfect your rotation or how to get the perfect opener. We cover everything you need to play just like a gladiator in PvP. We even take concepts like positioning and break them down into step-by-step guides. It's like questing, but instead of experience, you gain rating. We even offer a 14-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee for those of you who just want to try us out. So after this video, be sure to click the link below for an exclusive discount to get started. For now, back to the video. First up, let's take a look at the upcoming class changes. We went over these class-wide adjustments in more detail in our Unholy video, and Frost experienced the same set of changes. These were mainly minor defensive nerfs that unfortunately hit an already fragile spec. This includes a nerf to Death Strike healing and the removal of Lich Wall. It's disappointing to see further survivability reductions for Death Knight, especially since the class has been struggling in that department since Dragonflight. No one's asking for Death Knights to return to their immortal BFA days, but Blizzard really needs to find a middle ground, somewhere between Unkillable Juggernaut and Paperweight. For now though, let's take a look at the biggest changes to the spec tree. Frost didn't receive many spec-specific changes this time around, but that's understandable since it already got a talent rework in 11.2. As we mentioned earlier, Blizzard seems focused on fine-tuning rather than overhauling the spec again. They're turning the dials and knobs to keep Frost feeling impactful and fun without tipping it into overtuned territory. The first major change is that Obliterate now always deals half physical damage and half frost damage. Before this change, Obliterate was purely physical unless you had a Killing Machine proc. Of course, Killing Machine still empowers Obliterate to deal full frost damage, but this update allows the ability to partially benefit from Mastery. This is a great addition and will likely provide a noticeable sustained damage boost outside of those Pillar of Frost windows. Shattering Blade has received a small but meaningful rework. It still mostly functions the same by consuming Razor Ice stacks to empower your Frost Strike, but now it also interacts with Frostbane, causing Frostbane to consume Razor Ice and deal a massive 300% increased damage. Frostbane always had strong potential but struggled to find its place since it didn't interact with any of the Frost Strike talents. This change is Blizzard's attempt to fix that, and it's definitely a welcome improvement. The only other change of note is that Empower Rune Weapons damage component now hits instantly. Previously, there was a slight delay, but it didn't have much impact since the primary purpose of the ability has always been to generate runic power and get Killing Machine procs. Overall, this is a fairly neutral change. The delay was minor, so it doesn't really affect gameplay, but it does make the ability feel a bit smoother. We're going to give these changes a middle thumb. The updates themselves aren't bad, but Blizzard hasn't really done much to improve Frost as a spec. It still feels very much the same as before, which is disappointing to see heading into a new expansion. Now, in case you've been out of the loop, Midnight also introduces some brand new Apex talents. These are meant to be power-ups specifically tailored for each spec, centering one core mechanic. Frostworm's Fury is the star of the new Apex talents. All of the talents fall under the name Chosen of the Frost Brood, which fits the theme of Frost perfectly. The first Chosen of the Frost Brood talent simply increases the damage of Frostworm's Fury and grants you some haste immediately after the cast. This is actually a great addition because every 12.5% haste gives you an extra global during Pillar, which means you will always get an extra cast off. Even better, when gearing, you can run more Mastery for even more damage. This talent is definitely a win-win. The second Chosen of the Frost Brood talent wouldn't make much sense until you hear about the third one, so we're skipping ahead for now. The third talent is where things really heat up, or rather, freeze over. It boosts Frostworm's Fury damage by another 100% and allows you to recall your dragon again at 50% effectiveness. Back-to-back dragons not only looks incredible, but also give Frost an even more powerful burst window. Now, circling back to the second talent, when you cast your dragon, you instantly gain 50 runic power, and when you recall it, you receive 2 stacks of Killing Machine. This is great for resource generation and helps smooth out your rotation during your burst windows. It does, however, require a bit more awareness so you don't overcap on runic power or waste procs. Overall, it's a welcome quality of life improvement with no real downsides. All the Apex talents look great, and there's really not much to complain about here. They're all simple, direct upgrades to Frostworm's Fury, which already defines our biggest burst window. The added power and utility only make that moment feel even more impactful. Overall, this set of talents deserves a thumbs up. Now though, let's take a look at the brand new hero talents coming in Midnight. Rider of the Apocalypse has consistently been one of the strongest hero trees, and the new additions only reinforce that reputation. Ride or Die is the first new talent, and it makes Pillar of Frost summon Trollbane. This effect carries over from the old 11.2 two-piece bonus, and it's a welcome addition. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it adds some bonus damage that fits perfectly into the core playstyle. Let Terror Rain makes Trollbane cast Obliterate whenever you do. This is essentially the old 11.2 four-piece bonus, though it was infamous for being bugged and unreliable at the time. Hopefully, Blizzard ironed out the issues before turning it into a talent, because if it works as intended, it's just free extra damage during your burst window. The final talent, Unholy Armaments, provides a flat 5% damage boost to your riders. Not much else to add, it's straightforward, effective, and a solid boost to your overall damage. Deathbringer has long been known as the meme one-shot spec, but does that reputation hold up in Midnight? Frigid Resolve is probably one of the weakest talents we've ever seen added. It buffs Permafrost, which just makes your auto attacks grant a shield equal to the damage dealt. In practice, this is extremely underwhelming and won't make any noticeable impact on the game. Deathly Blows provides a passive damage increase to Frost Strike and Glacial Advance. This is a great addition for dual-wield Frost, which relies heavily on Frost Strike for kill pressure, but it doesn't add too much to two-handed Frost. Echoing Fury buffs Reaper's Mark by 5% and adds utility to Frostworm's Fury by granting 2 stacks of Exterminate when you use it. This makes Frostworm's Fury much more impactful for Deathbringer, and the added damage to Reaper's Mark is a nice bonus. The hero talents are reinforcing that Rider of the Apocalypse remains the go-to tree. Deathbringer received a few additions, but overall they feel underwhelming and don't compare to the consistency and strength of Rider. We're giving the hero talents a middle thumb since only one tree saw any meaningful improvements. But we're not done yet, because let's wrap things up with some PvP talent changes. Frost has received virtually no changes in the PvP talent department, which is extremely disappointing. The existing Frost talents don't feel impactful, and a few new additions or a rework would have been great to see. We're giving this a thumbs down. But what is our overall impression of Frost Death Knight in Midnight? It's hard to find anything truly negative about the changes. Most of them are positive, though we do wish Frost had seen some real updates. Frost has played largely the same way for nearly 20 years, and a refresh similar to what Unholy received was definitely deserved. At this point, it just feels bland. And did you know that every expansion we help thousands of healers just like you hit their rating goals? Like Gizmo here, a Resto Druid hard-stuck rival with over 5,000 games played, who gained over 600 rating in a few weeks just by using Skill Capped. Our damage and healing courses save you weeks or even months of your time, condensing down everything you need to know into bite-sized videos. You don't have to be scared to sign up, because we have a rank up guarantee that promises you will gain at least 400 rating while using our service. So if you're serious about climbing, visit the discount link below to get started. Anyway guys, we want to thank you all for watching. See you soon.